Hi, and welcome back to Life at the Nest. It's potting up time. We have lots of seedlings here at the nest that we need to pot up and move out to the greenhouse into larger pots so that they can continue to grow. However, I don't want to use a lot of plastic, so I want to show you today how we're going to make our pots out of paper bags. If you're anything like me and you bought a pack of seeds, you probably feel compelled to use every one of them. And that's what I did. I started lots and lots of seedlings. Now, I'm not just starting these for my own garden. I figured if I'm going to go through the effort, I may as well make some extras and I can sell them to neighbors and friends. And that's exactly what I'm doing. But I don't really like to use a lot of plastic. So this year, I'm going ahead and making some paper pots. Now, I've used everything. I've used solo cups. I've used plastic pots left over from the nursery. I've used milk cartons, I've used egg cartons for very small things. I've tried it all. But I wanted to try paper pots because I made them with a friend years ago. They worked out really well. And I thought I have enough this year that it probably makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these shopping bags and convert them into these little pots. This square pot is made pretty easily by having a template. So I've played around with it for a little while and I found that one shopping bag allows you to make 4 pots. Takes a little bit of time, but on rainy days like today, or days when we're just hanging out, watching Netflix or watching YouTube, we can make some paper pots up while we're just kind of hanging out. So I want to show you how we do it, and then I'll show you how we pot them up into here and how they hold together. All right, step 1. You just take your standard shopping bag, and if they come with handles like this, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the handles. It's best if you can peel them away without ripping the bag. It's okay if you rip it a little bit. But you kind of want to get this off of here because it just makes it kind of thick and chunky and difficult to fold. So I'm going to take these off. And this is all stuff I would do assembly line. I wouldn't do them one at a time like this because it'll go faster if you can split up the work. Okay, take a scissor and cut right down the side of your bag to open it up. I feel like I'm making book covers for school books, but kind of the same process. We're just going to cut the bottom out of each of the bags. You can do this with craft paper as well. If you have rolls of craft paper, as long as it's not coated with anything, it'll work out really well. All right, so when I have the bottom out, okay, so I have this entire opened up bag. I'm going to fold it in half-ish. Like, don't measure it. It's not worth it. Lots of people measure them. It's probably a good thing to do, but it's not my style. And I'm going to cut down the side of this to cut that in half. And then I'm going to fold it in half and cut it half lengthwise as well. If you have one of those really cool paper cutters for your Christmas wrapping paper, we have one somewhere. I don't know where it is right now. This would probably go faster, or even just to run a knife up through it. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to use a scissor. I'm cutting these two together right down that seam. Here's the thing, guys. It doesn't have to be straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be in 4 pieces. This is the size that I'm going to use for making a 3-inch pot. Now, a 3-inch pot is a perfectly good sized pot for peppers and even young tomatoes. This is like a 3 to 4 week time frame that they're going to be in here. I'm not leaving them in here for a long time. And by 3 to 4 weeks, this is going to start to kind of break down a little bit. You'll even see roots coming out the side. So this is not something we're trying to do for a long time. But I'm in mid-April. My plants can't really go outside until mid-May. So I just need to get away with 4 more weeks to get them out of their seedling trays, let them grow, and this works perfectly. All right, so we've made all of these pieces. And I asked my husband if he could make me a template. We had a 4x4 piece of lumber laying out in the shed, and he cut it down to 3 inches all the way around. And 3 inches makes the perfect pot for my purposes. So let me just clean up a little bit here. Okay, set this guy out of the way. So you're going to take your rectangle of paper and just start by making about a half or 3/4 of an inch or maybe an inch at the top of a crease. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just make a straight fold it back. You're just trying to create a little bit of memory. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in here like this on my right hand. And I'm going to line the top of this up with the top of the edge of the paper that has the crease on it. So I'm right-handed. The bottom of my pot is going to be on my right. And I'm going to take it and line it up so the paper is about halfway up the block. So I'll line that up and I'm gonna roll it, crease it, roll it, crease it, roll it, crease it, and one more time. And all the way around until, here it is. It's wrapped all the way around. And again, I've ended in the middle, and that is helpful when it comes to creating structure. So do that. And then I want to start my folds by folding on the top of this post where the seam is. I go in seam first, and I just pull up my edges, and then I go around, not across, around. So I'm going to put the second one down and fold up, the third one down and fold up, and the last one down and fold up. Now this gets a little chunky here. You can see this piece is sticking up. It helps a little bit if you kind of put it on the table and give it a little squishy squishy. And then I'm going to turn it upside down and pull it away. So my structure is really good. And you remember I talked about making that crease ahead of time. It just makes this part easier, where I'm going to fold it down across the top. It has some memory. And then I like to come along and pinch these top corners to give them structure, and there's your pot. Now you might think, what about this piece at the bottom? That's hanging down, it's not gonna sit. And you're right, it's not gonna sit at the moment. You can crease it yourself if you want to give it a little extra rigidity, or you can just hold on, because when you get them out to your tray, 3 of these across by 6 long is gonna fit in a 10-20 tray. So when you get them to your tray and you set them down and you put soil in them, this won't matter anymore, because the weight of the pot is going to help hold it down. And it just seems to accept that that's its role, is to roll in there and sit still and behave, and it works.